Coming up on City Spotlight, we're talking Mattoon with the Mayor of Mattoon, Tim Gover. We will discuss the latest with the new Public Works building, as well as some other buildings projects, plus future work on Marshall Avenue. We will also talk education in Mattoon with Mattoon High School Principal Michele Sinclair. That's all next on City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. Thank you to all of you for joining us for this latest edition of City Spotlight. Today we're talking about Mattoon, and joining me on set is the Mayor of Mattoon, Tim Gover.
Hello, glad to be here. Always enjoyable.
Excellent, Tim. Thank you for being on. And I believe it was about a year ago we taped our first City Spotlight, and we had you on to talk about Mattoon. So a year has transpired, and glad to have you on again. And how did 2015 go for Mattoon? 2015
was great, and it doesn't seem like it's been a year. We had a lot of good things going on in Mattoon in 2015, and so it was a good year overall.
Excellent. Look forward to hearing some of your comments on things that have gone on and will be going on. I think let's start with economic development, as we're taping here at the end of January, and we had you on in August last time, and talked about possible new businesses coming to Mattoon. Some have come and they've started doing business in Mattoon. Now, what's going on there with new businesses in Mattoon?
Well, back in 2015, among other things, Advance Auto Part opened. We had the beginning of K.C. Summers GMC dealership start, and that is continuing now into 2016. The Sears Hometown store has opened in downtown Mattoon on Broadway. A number of smaller businesses have opened. We've had a number of expansions of businesses and businesses that are looking to come to Mattoon in 2016. We had a number of churches, in fact, that have actually had expansions that were either completed in 2015, started in 2015, or are continuing or will start in 2016.
And what does that say from seeing those businesses and even the churches? That's wonderful news. For these type of expansions moving forward, it's a bright future.
I think it is, and I think it shows that Mattoon is moving ahead, that we have good economic development, not only in Mattoon, but in the surrounding area.
Okay, let's stick with buildings and some structural things that are going on, and we talked about this a couple of times now. The new Public Works building, how's that going?
We're starting on that, actually doing some groundwork on that now. We hope to start the actual construction probably sometime in the spring. Okay. And speaking of that building, before we went on air, you'd mentioned the old building, or the one where we are now, which is located at 12th and Richmond. When the new Public Works building is completed, that building at 12th and Richmond will be demolished. And we have plans, I think we may have mentioned this in August, that we want to expand the bike trail. The bike trail right now, whether you're talking about beginning or ending of the bike trail, is at 10th and Richmond. Right. And we would like to expand that to the Y. Okay. And then eventually, Dean Barber, our Public Works Director, excuse me, has plans to expand that to 43rd Street.
Okay. So stretch across there, cover a lot of ground, and
it will.
Avid bikers can look forward to that.
And that's for a long term.
Excellent. Very good. Let's talk about the old factory building there by the post office. Yeah. That's been there a number of years, and kind of part of the community pride of Mattoon. And tell us a little bit about that old building.
Yeah, that's a Young Radiator property. And that is, as we are speaking right now, as you said, taping in late January, that building is being demolished, or what remains of a number of buildings that are on that property. That property will be cleaned up, and we're very thankful for that. It's something that a number of different administrations have worked on for probably 20 plus years, and that's taken a lot of work by a lot of people. When I became mayor, I talked with our city administrator and city attorney, and I said, I have two primary things on my agenda. Number one, do something with Young Radiator. Number two, let's clean up the city. And so we are, after 5.5 years, having something done with Young Radiator, and I'm proud that this is being done during the time that I'm mayor. The cleaning up of the city, we've sort of labeled as community pride.
Right.
And that's an ongoing process. It's not something that'll ever end. It's continuing. And as we get into the spring and summer, grass, weeds, etc., that'll continue as well.
Something, as you said, you're very proud of something that right off the bat when you became mayor, you want to see accomplished, and it's about to happen. So.
Right, and that's with the cooperation of our city council and our city attorneys and our city administrator. So it's taken work by a lot of people to get that accomplished.
Very good. Another building I want to ask you about, the Burgess Osborne Auditorium needs some repairs after some unfortunate damage done in November. What's going on there? When can we see repairs to the Burgess?
They're underway right now. There was an unfortunate incident where a car ran into the building, and so it was necessitated some major repair there. In the process, we also had received a grant, and we're doing some remodeling inside, making it more, I'd say, people-friendly, where maybe we can have more wedding receptions or other kinds of meetings there. So that's ongoing as we speak.
Beautiful, beautiful building. Many things held over there over the years. Tim, and I want to ask you for any comments you can lend to us on some recently donated property at 1812 Western Avenue to the PADS Community Organization. They're looking for a new location for their operation. And I understand they need to demolish the property there. What can you add to that?
Yes, the Cull family donated that property at 1812 Western. It's between Western and Prairie. In fact, it's right across the street from City Hall, south of City Hall. And that's about a 10,000 square foot building. They, as I understand it, reading in the newspaper, they plan to demolish that building and then put up, again, as I understand it, a 4,000 square foot building on that property. So that will be, I think, a good location for them. It's only about 2 blocks from where they are currently.
Okay, convenience of the location.
Right.
Well, thank you, Tim, for those
And
comments.
it's not in a residential neighborhood, so
correct.
That's one of the things that we were concerned about, and many people within our community was concerned that it would be in a residential neighborhood, and this is not.
All right, an update to something people have been talking about. It's been in the news. Let's move forward and talk about construction on Marshall Avenue. It's a 3-phase project, you told me, and when does that get started?
That should get started this spring as well. Marshall Avenue is a very highly traveled street in Mattoon. Where first phase will be from 6th Street to 9th Street, and that will be reconstructed, be concrete. The intersection at 9th and Marshall will also be reconstructed. All of that we expect to have done before school begins. Okay. Then the next 2 years we will do the rest of it from 9th to 17th Street.
Excellent. So much needed work there for heavily traveled road on Marshall Avenue in Mattoon. As we conclude on the construction road work type things, Tim, is there anything else you want to talk about as far as construction of buildings or road work here in 2016?
Well, we have our normal types of things. We have some sidewalk projects. We have some road projects that are on the drawing board that we plan to start and complete in 2016.
Okay. I think we talked before the show here to taping Heritage Park. Any work there?
Yes. Glad you brought that up. Heritage Park is located at 17th and Broadway, some land donated by the Lumpkin Family Foundation. We had hoped to get started on that this past spring, but the bids came in way over our estimates. And so we had to do some tweaking of that and put that out for bidding again. That came in then what we expected and wanted. And talking with Dean Barber, our Public Works Director, that will probably begin in the spring as well.
All right, look forward to that. Tim, I want to ask you, it's been just a couple of days since the State of the State was given by Governor Rauner, and state budget is something we've been talking about with other leaders here on City Spotlight since last spring, and hoping to have it at the start of this new year. Things are looking kind of tough for organizations, communities, higher education. Your thoughts, Tim, on where things are with the state and how it may affect Mattoon this year?
Well, from what I've heard, it doesn't look like we will get a budget for fiscal year 2016 until after the November elections, when we'll really be into basically fiscal year 2017. Right now, we are working with our department heads and putting together our city budget because city fiscal year begins May 1st. And so it's sort of like it was last year. It's baguesse and bagosh because we don't know what to expect. We're just going on what we hope will happen, and it's a pretty tough situation trying to build a city budget not knowing what state funds will be.
And we talked about the uncertainty with many leaders such as yourself, and have to deal with it a second time now, and it's lingering, the uncertainty. It's got to be tough, and how you guys are able to deal with that and operate as a city.
Well, it's tough for the cities, it's tough for the school districts, it's tough for Lakeland College, for Eastern Illinois University, and of course that all has an impact on the area economy. People working at the schools, college, university, do they want to go out and spend money when we don't know what's happening in the budget, or the budget may be cut tremendously and jobs may be eliminated? So it's having an impact throughout the state and certainly within our local communities here.
Very good. And you tied into the next thing I wanted to ask you about are two forms of higher education in Coles County. We have Lakeland College, Eastern Illinois University. They're trying to maintain the education that's going on in their respective campuses. We had Lakeland College President Dr. Josh Bullock on in December. Tim, how does Lakeland College impact Mattoon?
I think to a great extent. We have people who live in Mattoon who work at the college as faculty or staff. We have students who live in Mattoon that maybe are from out of town, but they may have an apartment or a room in Mattoon. Right. They shop in Mattoon, and so it has a major impact. The college buys items from vendors in the city of Mattoon, so it has been a major contributor, and we have a very, very good working relationship between the city of Mattoon and Lakeland College, and Eastern Illinois University and the Community Unit School District.
Are there any programs that Mattoon and Lakeland College work on together that maybe you want to highlight at this time?
Nothing that I can think of specifically at this point, but we do cooperate whenever it is necessary. We meet with President Bullock on a regular basis as well.
Okay. I mentioned Charleston, and as we wrap up here, Tim, kind of the last thing I want to ask you about is that neighboring towns, Mattoon and Charleston here in Coles County, your staff, as well as Mayor Brandon Combs of Charleston staff, you guys meet on numerous occasions, and once a year you hold a joint city meeting.
We do.
Once a year, two towns meeting together. What's that like when both staffs meet together for this joint meeting?
Well, it's quite interesting. We meet at the Lifespan Center. We met not too long ago, and we have all of the council members from the two communities and our department heads from the two communities. We meet. It's an official meeting for both Mattoon and Charleston. We do some business legally and as we have to, and it's been a very good meeting. It's an opportunity for the people in both communities to get to meet one another. It's open, obviously, to the public, and there were quite a few members of the public who did attend that meeting. You mentioned Mayor Combs. Mayor Combs and City Manager Scott Smith and our City Administrator Kyle Gill and I meet on a monthly basis. We alternate between meeting in Mattoon and Charleston. Our department heads meet on a monthly basis as well. So a great deal of cooperation between the two communities, as it should be. As I've said many times, what's good for Mattoon is good for Charleston. What's good for Charleston, good for Mattoon. So working together, we can accomplish much more than trying to work individually.
All right, very good. Glad to hear those comments, and we'll have Charleston on here soon on City Spotlight again. Tim, as we move along here at the very end of this show, is there anything that we've maybe missed or that you want to reiterate here as we conclude?
Well, I think we've covered most of the major things, but I think we've got a very vibrant community. I think the people in Mattoon, I speak of Mattoon, but Charleston as well, but I think the people in this area are very good people, and we work together and we're moving ahead, and that's what we have to do, always looking ahead for economic development. I know our Mattoon City Council is very proactive, pro-business, and that has helped develop business within the community over the last several years.
Well, great to hear what's going on here as 2016 starts, Tim, and best of luck, and we'll have you on again very soon.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's always enjoyable, and I wonder where'd all the time go so quickly.
I know, it's flown by in 1 year.
That's right.
Had you on a number of times, and we look forward to having you on again.
Thank you.
Mayor of Mattoon, Tim Gover, thank you for your time on City Spotlight.
Thank you.
And coming up next on City Spotlight, we'll talk education in Mattoon with Mattoon High School Principal Michele Sinclair. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Mattoon. And we're back on City Spotlight. We're now turning our attention to education in Mattoon, and we're at Mattoon High School with the principal of Mattoon High School, Michele Sinclair.
Hi, nice to be here today.
Excellent. Thank you for taking the time to be on here, and we look forward to your comments about things going on here at MHS. Before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I actually student taught here in the math department in 1983, so a long time ago. Taught a couple of years math over at Arthur Junior Senior High School and returned to Mattoon High School in the fall of 1985, where I taught math in the classroom for 19 years. And then in the 2004-05 school year, I became assistant principal. I did that for 5 years, and in the fall of 2009, I became the head principal. So been in that position since then.
All right, very good. And I want to hear about some of the programs going on here at in Mattoon High School. And let's start with the BIONIC program. It's been going on a few years, and it's a mentoring program.
It is. This is our third year for the program, and there are actually 4 teams that help support students. We have done a needs analysis of the kinds of problems that our students had transitioning to Mattoon High School. And of course, one of the major transitions is freshman year. So we have a huge freshman mentoring program. We also have a grief team because we know that many students and faculty and staff experience grief, and that can cause a disruption to their education. And then we have the students who transfer in, and those students need mentoring and help acclimating to Mattoon High School. And then we have a team where students who miss extended days get support and tutoring from our BIONIC students. So kind of an all-encompassing program that really addresses some of the needs that our students have.
When I was looking up things about going on at MHS here, and I saw that Mattoon had a mentoring program. That's something that I would have loved to have had back in my day in high school with, not personally for myself, but a lot of kids probably could use it. So how has it benefited or maybe improved the atmosphere of the students here in Mattoon High School?
Well, it's kind of a twofold thing. First of all, it really does help our freshmen and other students, as I mentioned earlier, in knowing that someone cares about them, they have someone to go to, they learn about the high school, they learn how to navigate the lunchroom, just simple things like that. And also, the other side of it is that we're really developing leaders in our juniors and seniors, and they're learning how to lead in a positive way.
So it's helping students get around, feel better about themselves, and you're developing leadership skills for students. Do you find that students that have gone through the program go on to be mentors themselves?
I think this is what we really saw this year. The juniors were the first group who had been mentored as freshmen, and we had an overwhelming number of juniors who were interested in being a part of it. As a matter of fact, of our 120, 130 mentors, the vast majority of them, over 80, are juniors. So they saw positive and negative things, and they wanted to make a difference. So it's really changing the culture of Mattoon High School, and those students stepping up and taking really ownership in our school.
And I'm sure there's some other programs you may want to highlight, other programs, activities going on now and this school year. Okay. What are some things you'd like to highlight?
Well, one of the really cool things that we started in the 2011-12 school year was our positive incentive program. So students earn positive points for attendance, for no discipline, for their GPA, and for test scores that we give. And then if they don't have any of those negative things like in-school or out-of-school suspension, at the end of first quarter, qualifying students with 70% of the points get a free pizza day. And then second quarter, if they have 75% of the points, we take them to a movie. So we have 753 qualifying students for movie day, which is taking place on February 12th. And then the third quarter, if they have 80% of the points, then we take them to Six Flags. So from feedback from student surveys, one of the things they mentioned a few years ago was that everything was all consequential, and we didn't recognize students for doing the right thing. So that came as a result of input from our students. We just have so many really cool things. One of the things that I'm really happy about, in addition to what I've already spoken about, is the dual credit that we have. And our students are coming out of Mattoon High School with 35 hours of college credit. And this last 2 years, we've really tried to give more vocational opportunities to students. So we have 9 students that are currently out at Lakeland in the morning in an automotive tech program. And Casey Summers actually paid the tuition for those kids, which was $1,500 per student. So that's a huge thing. And then we're Also offering next year dual credit for construction skills, which is a program where our students go and build a house every year. It's another awesome opportunity for students who are in that vocational area.
And that's something that we've heard on from other educators on City Spotlight about opportunities for students to get out and learn work skills that can benefit them in the future moving forward. Very good. You've been here, you said, a little over 10 years as the principal at MHS. How would you describe the Mattoon School District as a whole?
I think Mattoon High School and Mattoon School District as a whole is looked upon from the area schools as the leading edge of things. I think we really try to stay on top of the research, do what's best for students. You know, we're kind of a model for the area, and I think that's the forward thinking of our upper administration, to be honest.
Okay, very good. And talking about the community, Mattoon as a whole, kids growing up, people live here, work here. What are some things that you like most about Mattoon, Illinois?
Well, I like that Mattoon is a small community, yet big enough that it offers, you know, lots of opportunities for people, lots of places to work. I raised both of my children here. They both graduated from Mattoon High School and have gone on to be successful people. And I feel like if you are motivated and you take advantage of the things that we have to offer, you can come out of here and do anything you want. And we have many, many students who are very successful people in every aspect of life.
Okay. And I understand at the end of this school year you'll be retiring. And I know this is a kind of a broad question, but whatever comes up top of your head, what are some things you're proud of that have been accomplished here at MHS during the time you've been here?
Well, there are so many things, and probably one of them I think that gives me the greatest pride are actually the people. We have an amazing faculty who just bends over backwards to help students, and then there are the students themselves who have grown, and it's so fun to watch them learn and grow and become young adults, and our support staff who just do everything they can to make things nice here for students. So I think the people that I'm leaving behind are going to be the thing that I miss the most.
We know that the next Mattoon High School principal will be someone that we've had on City Spotlight not too long ago, Rich Stewart. He's currently the Shelbyville High School principal, and he worked here under you for a little bit, and so he's coming back to a place he's familiar with. What is Mattoon High School getting in Rich Stewart? Rich
Stewart is the kind of man who puts students' interests at heart first. He's also someone who is a student of education. In that respect, I think he does a lot of reading and talking to people and working with people, and I know he'll do a fantastic job, and I feel like I'm leaving Mattoon High School in good hands.
And do you have any words of advice for Rich coming in here to MHS, a place he's familiar with, now doesn't have to move too far from Shelbyville to Mattoon? Any words of advice for Rich?
I think if you always keep what's best for students at heart, you'll make the right decisions.
We've covered a wide variety of things going on here at MHS, yourself, and MHS moving forward. Is there anything else that maybe here as we conclude with you that you'd like to bring up or highlight, something you're looking forward to?
There are so many things. Let's see. I think continuing to grow our dual credit program and make sure that we have vocational opportunities for students. I'd like to invite people to come to our extracurricular activities and support our students and continue to support Mattoon High School and Mr. Stewart in the upcoming years.
All right. Well, thank you, Michele Sinclair,
Thank you.
the Mattoon High School principal, for being on City Spotlight. We appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we'd like to thank all of you for taking in this latest episode of City Spotlight, and we'll see you next time.
City Spotlight is on YouTube. Past episodes can be viewed on East Central Illinois towns that have been featured on City Spotlight. Just search on YouTube City Spotlight with the show number and the name of the town. Listed on your screen are the recent episodes of City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.